Hey everybody, it's Dave, and I am back with another project. This one's a lighted address sign made out of 18 gauge stainless steel. I do my designs typically in VCarve, actually. To get them onto the plasma cutter here, I actually use Fusion 360, but I am not great with that software yet. So I make them on VCarve first so I can see what they are supposed to look like, and also to show the person I'm making it for to get a good picture of it. And then I transition that over to Fusion 360 so that I can actually cut it out. So here is the plasma cutter going to work. Total cut time for the whole thing was about 13, 14 minutes, something like that. And it's important when you're making these signs, or at least when I'm making these signs, you have to dig out those pieces that fall through, especially for the insides of the round numbers and letters like the 8 and the A and the E, because those will be important later when you're actually making the sign. And then I also save other things, save as much as I can in case something comes up later that I might want to use them for. So here is the kind of the end of the process with the plasma cutter. And then as soon as it cuts everything out, I will show you the next step. So here the sign's all cut out, and I use that Rust-Oleum primer that you see there. And I put two coats on the front and the back, and then you can also see the hardware to attach and the inserts that I mentioned. So I make sure those get two nice coats on both sides to try to prevent rust later on. And then, of course, the front will get painted whatever color the person wants. So the front will actually have, four, sometimes five coats. I'll have links to everything I use below so that you can get them yourself if you like. Those are Amazon links, and I am an Amazon affiliate, so I do get a piece of that if you do decide to buy from them. But I encourage you to look around as well. You might find better prices. So here's the front after I've painted it a couple of times, and there's the inserts and the washers for the front. One thing that I failed to do when I made this design was I should have had the plasma cutter cut out the holes in the corners for attaching it to the house. I ended up having to drill those in, which was a little annoying, but anyway, there you can see the holes are drilled and the washers are on there, and I actually glue those on to make sure they don't go anywhere. This is the acrylic that goes behind, and this particular process has the sun in there, so this became a two-color acrylic section, and normally I just paint the whole thing white. So it took a little bit of making sure that I had the colors in the right place and didn't bleed into these sections I didn't want it. Once I have it all lined up and make sure it's correct, I use that 5-minute epoxy that I showed there and attach the acrylic to the metal. It works really well. It's quick and it does not lift off under normal circumstances. The sign that I have on my house, I've had for a year and a half, and there's been no issues with it at all. So it's great. Once that's dry, I take off the um, plastic that I use to weight everything down, and again, make sure it's well fixed. And then the next step is to apply the lights. So here's a couple of pictures showing the light application process. I actually use a solar light that has worked pretty well for me. It is solar, so it all depends on how much sunlight it gets through the day. but I've had pretty good success with it so far. Once I get the lights in place with the double stick tape, then I use that 5-minute epoxy to make sure things don't move. You have to be careful what type of epoxy you use for this because the normal epoxy for other projects can burn through the acrylic. And here's the completed sign with the electronics in place. Once I get a picture of it installed and lit up, I will add that to the video. So that's it. Hope you like it. If you'd use a different process, feel free to share that in the comments and let me know what you think.